So I made this inner commitment that no matter what I think and no matter what I feel, I'm gonna complete all 12 steps.
Deja fucking vu, right?
And the weird thing is Alcoholics Anonymous. That is so weird.
There's gotta be a better way.
I remember I was at this program, I was at this rehab, and this is one of my valiant attempts. And they said, hey, get in this bus, the druggy buggy, get into the alcoholer. We're gonna take you to a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, and we want you to get a sponsor.
We're on a mission from God.
So I go to this meeting and I hear this guy share, and I think, well, that guy sounded kind of neat. You know, maybe I identify with him. So maybe I'll ask that guy to sponsor me.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
So at the end of the meeting, I asked this guy, will you sponsor me? And he goes, yes. And then I go, I'm at that rehab and I need to get a sponsor. And he goes, okay, I'll sponsor you. And he says, do you have a big book? And I'm saying, yes. And he goes, do you have a highlighter? And I say, yes. And he goes, I want you to go back and I want you to read the doctor's opinion and I want you to read Bill's story and I want you to highlight stuff that you can relate to in there. So I got back to the rehab, I pull out this big book and I'm reading the doctor's opinion, I'm reading Bill's story, and I'm like, who is this guy? A stockbroker for the 1930s, drinking bathtub gin, rolling around in a motorcycle with his wife in a sidecar, going and checking on investment. What are you talking about? I shoot heroin. I smoke speed. I am engaged in crime and violence. I don't have anything to relate to in here because I suffered from this thing and it's called terminal uniqueness. And that says in my brain, you haven't seen the things I've seen, you haven't been to the places I've been, and I know you haven't done the stuff that I've done, so how are you gonna tell me anything? So when I read this book and I hear about this stockbroker and I hear this Dr. Bob and this doctor's opinion, I don't relate to anything in here. I have nothing to highlight. But the deal is, back then, I was very shallow. I was terminally unique. No, you haven't been to the places I've been. You haven't seen the things I've seen. You haven't done the things I've done. But there's this one thing that crosses all boundaries that I know that you have. You have felt the way I have felt. Lost, broken, confused, afraid. Just because my prison was the 5th tier of Folsom and I'm in my little cell and I'm doing heroin and I'm drinking Pruno and I'm going out of my mind being the biggest failure in life, having everything taken from me, lost, confused, afraid, full of fear, just angry, does not mean that my prison is any better or worse than a housewife that has never had a speeding ticket and she's in her $1 million kitchen drinking herself to death, losing her husband, losing her kids, losing her home, losing her career, losing her dignity, losing her health, full of fear, full of shame, full of guilt. Her and I are the exact same person. See, it's not the gin, it's not the whiskey, it's not the heroin, it's not the crank, it's not the beer, it's not the vodka, it's not none of that stuff. It is me, my condition. I have an obsession of the mind and body inside of me, and I can't stop tripping on myself. She can't stop tripping on herself. That we are the same. We are human beings experiencing the bondage of self, which is torture inside. Doesn't matter that she's drinking and I'm doing heroin, we're the same.